ArcMap has a slightly different way of dealing with files than what you might be used to in programs like Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel and so on. And so I'd just kind of briefly summarize the way that spatial data files are handled by ArcMap and the other program in the ArcGIS suite called ArcCatalog, and then also the way that ArcMap document files are saved and what ArcMap document files are. So basically, here's my ArcMap window, and right now I haven't saved my ArcMap session, and it just says untitled here. This is effectively a blank new ArcMap document. And then this is the table of contents where it will list each of the individual spatial data sets, or actually spatial data layers that I have in my table of contents. And this is my data frame here. And this is where my data files will be visualized. So I've added two layers to my ArcMap document now. One is this Indian Creek land cover data set, and the other is this Monroe County roads data set. Now, one important thing to recognize here is that what I've really added here are pointers to a data set. And the reason why it says layers here is that I can add multiple pointers to the same data set. So for example, if I had a different elements in this Monroe County's roads data set, I can load multiple instances of that data set. And so I would have multiple layers here pointing to the same data set. So that's kind of the difference between what a layer is and a spatial data set is. You can think of a layer as just a pointer to a spatial data set, and you can have multiple layers or multiple pointers to the same data set in your table of contents. But for right now, I've just got these two layers here, and both of these are pointing to individual data sets. I'll right click on these so we can look and see where these are stored on my file system. So under the source tab here in layer properties, I can see that the shapefile that this data set is coming from is in C:users, Sunny, and so on. And then this is the name of the shapefile, Indian Creek Land Cover 2006.shp. So that's the actual spatial data set, and that's where the actual spatial data is stored. The ArcMap document is really just this saved ArcMap session here. And so when I use this File menu here and I click Save, what I'm saving here is just the ArcMap session. So I'll do that right now. I'll click Save, and I'm going to save this in a folder here, and I'll call this Forest 2006 because this will be my ArcMap document where I'm working with some land cover data from 2006. Okay, so now I've just saved that ArcMap document file, and so now I see this Forest 2006.mxd in the name of my ArcMap session here. Now let's see what this looks like on the file system itself. So here I am in a particular folder here, Forest Analysis, and I've got this MXD document here, Forest 2006. And notice that the file size of this thing it's only 32 kilobytes, which is really small. So really just 3% of a megabyte. And then here are the actual data files. This 2006 land cover is my shapefile for the forest data, and then this Monroe County roads is my shapefile for the roads data. And then look and see at the file size of these items here. And the .shp file, this is the largest file of the combination of files that compose this spatial data set. This is where the actual spatial data is stored. The attribute data for that shapefile is stored in this dbf file, and then the projection information or the spatial reference information is stored in this prj file. And so what this means is that you can't just move this shp file and have a complete shapefile. You've got to move all of these files that have this same file prefix and move these together in order to have a complete shapefile. And that's why it's a good practice to only use ArcCatalog when you're copying and moving files, because ArcCatalog will grab all this set of files that compose the entire spatial data set as one single movement, and so you won't have to worry about whether you're missing one of these individual files. So just to emphasize again, this file menu here, this doesn't save spatial data sets. This only saves your ArcMap document. And what it specifically saves are things like which layers you had in your table of contents and how those layers were symbolized, where I've got a value of 1 coded as green polygons. And actually what I'm going to do quickly here is just relabel this as forest to be a little clearer on what my data set is. And so when I open up this Forest 2006 MXD document, it'll open up another ArcMap session, load these layers, symbolize them just the way I've got them symbolized here. It will zoom in to this exact same extent here. And then the other important thing that it does is it will save any map compositions that I have. So the other part of ArcMap is under this layout view. So right now I'm in the data view and I'm looking at my data. My layout view is actually where I compose ArcMap map compositions, and that's where I can add a title to my composition, a scale bar, a legend, and so on. And so these ArcMap compositions, map compositions, are also saved in MXD files. But the actual edits to a spatial data set are not saved through this file menu. If I wanted to edit my roads data set here, I would need to use a different set of tools. So let's do that now. I'm going to go back to my data view here. And I'm going to edit, and I'm just going to quickly add a additional road to this data set. So I'll right click on this data set, go to Edit Features, and click Start Editing. This will bring up a new dialog box over here called the Create Features dialog box. And this is the data set that I'm going to edit now, my roads data set. And here I've got a new toolbar, the Editor toolbar. And under the Editor toolbar is a Save Edits menu item. And this is where you save, when you make changes to a shapefile, this is how you save those changes. So let me quickly add a new layer, add a new road to my roads data set using this straight segment tool here. And so there's my new road in light blue now. And I'll go to Editor and Save Edits. And so now this line, this new line, has been saved in my roads data set. I'll close this Create Features dialog here and here. And so again, just to emphasize, making changes to a spatial data set or changing my spatial data sets, that's what I use the Editor toolbar for. When I want to make changes to my ArcMap document, which is really just saving this session, but not saving any spatial data sets or edits to a spatial data set, that's what this File menu and Save is used for here.